Kenny, with just the right angle, the breaking news here. I saw this story late last night. It regards some campaign signs. KARK4 did this story regarding to campaign signs that were taken down. And then I saw a post from a guy I've worked with before, McCary Murphy, who posted on Facebook, and I'll read his statement here, and then I have him on the phone to talk a little more about this. Just to address the false hit piece Channel 4 did on me yesterday, I told Channel 4 reporter Madison Gaffner that property owner told me he didn't give permission for the candidate Marcus Jones and James Henry Bartolome to put their signs on his property and gave me approval to lay them down, which I did lay them down to be picked up. The other property owner on Chenal told me to take them down also. Channel 4 did not call the owner John Reese or Lysen Rockefeller to verify the facts. They asked the candidates if they had permission. They both said yes. That is not true. And then there are some other letters here that Carrie posted. Carrie, are you able to hear me okay, first of all?
Yeah, I can hear you okay.
Okay, great. Tell me how it is you got involved with dealing with the signs on this property here.
Well, I do, besides my gun shows in 2 states, I do, on a side job, I do signs for different people. I put up political signs. I put up business signs. They pay me I make the signs for them. I get the T-posts, the rebar cut, and everything. And I also put the signs in the ground, and then I pick them up after the event. So, basically, I don't have to touch them. They call me and say, hey, if it's a candidate, they'll call me and say, hey, put this sign on the ground. We got permission from this property. They give me the address. I go stick it in. And some of the places, I know people on the property, and I call them and say, hey, do you support this candidate, or is it okay to put this event? Sometimes it's event from chambers. It's not always political. But I do a lot of different candidates, whether it's city council, state reps, state senators, congressmen, other statewide offices. We go all over the state. So while we're putting out signs, I called the property owner to get permission, and I said, and we had permission for a candidate, and I said, there's these other candidate signs on the property. Did you give them permission? And she said, no, I did not. You need to, you take them down. I didn't give them permission. I said, okay. So I took the 2 down, laid them down in a stack, so that the candidates, when they come pull up, I know people make mistakes. I know that candidates, campaigns have workers, and they go out and they put signs up for them. So once they put them up, they may put them in the wrong spot, or they get overzealous and they want to put it by the other candidate, and so they slap them in the ground. Well, when you find out later that it's in the wrong spot, or you didn't get permission and it's laid down, then you just pick it up and put it somewhere else. I didn't destroy the signs. Mm-hmm. It's just pick it up and put it somewhere else.
Understandable.
Well, so I was told they didn't have permission to take it down. She spends, and the people, when they invest and they pay for candidates and they give them money, or they say put signs on there, they're showing their support for that candidate. If they let the opposite candidate, the opponent, put their sign on the property, they're throwing money away. It's like you don't know who they support. You're giving space to somebody you don't support. So they asked me to take it down. There was only 2 properties that I've taken signs down on, and that was the 2 on Chenal. So the other one was John Reese property, was right next door. So I go over there to fix a sign and tell them that we got signs up there, and I was told, okay, we need to get them down. They don't have permission. So there was other signs on the property that he does not support Democrats, okay? And he wanted the signs down, but I didn't ask him about all the other signs. I just asked him about them 2 candidates, and he said, yes, we need to take them down. So I took them down and laid them down too. But I didn't go and get all the other signs, and I didn't want to bother him with saying, hey, we got this sign, this sign, this sign. That's not how it works. Because I'm dealing with owners and people that are real busy in life, and they don't want me calling them every minute about a sign.
Yeah,
So
understandable.
I laid them down and then went on about my business. Now, this is in the middle of the day on Chenal with my truck that I borrowed that I was using at the time with my magnets. I'm not going to do something illegal in the middle of the day where everybody can see with magnets on my truck. That's stupid. So,
Exactly.
I mean, that's just crazy. So this anonymous person, which I'm going to call her Karen Snowflake, take me without even asking me, what are you doing? Or, hey, sir, are you supposed to take me? I could have answered her question really quick. So I get the phone call from, I get a text from Madison, I don't know how you pronounce her name, Gaffner, the Channel 4 reporter, Madison.
Madison Gaffner, I believe that's what it looks like.
Madison Gaffner. She texts me, hey, I want to verify if this is your truck, and you in this video. Well, it wasn't my truck because mine was broke down at the time in the shop, so I was borrowing somebody's, but it was me. And I said, yes, that's me. She goes, did you take and steal the sign? I said, no, we laid signs down, and I have permission. The owner told me to take them down. And she goes, well, I said, yeah. I said, the owner. And so she calls me, texts me back a little bit later. I called the property manager. They said they would take him down and says that you did not have permission to take him down. I said, I didn't talk to the property management company. I talked to the owner. I deal with owners. I don't deal with people because if you deal with somebody in the office, you know what they do? They have to call the owner
exactly
to verify and the owner gives them permission. Well, that takes 3 or 4 days. I've got phone numbers for owners. I call them direct. They know who I am. I do this all the time. I'm on their property all the time and cleaning it up for them. They say, hey, I need them signs down, carry out information. Can you get them down? Yep, I go take them down for them. That's the business I'm in, picking up and putting out signs.
Exactly.
I do stuff for judges and other people. There's nothing that I do legal. And I do gun shows for a living. I do not do anything illegal that will get in trouble. It's all by the book. Now, every once in a while, we may have a sign in a spot that's not supposed to be. But if somebody calls me and says, hey, your guy's put it in the wrong spot, okay, well, we send somebody out and we take it down. We don't leave it up.
Exactly.
We say, well, if you lay it down for us, we'll come pick it up.
And speaking of the owner, and here is from John A. Reese of Reese Commercial. And this is the letter that you posted on your Facebook page. It says, Dear Miss Gaffner, in relation to your story on political signs that ran on Channel 4's news today and last night, I did not give my permission for any Democrat candidates to come onto my private on Chenal Parkway or any of my other locations here in Little Rock and install campaign signs. I only allow signs to be placed after I have met with the candidate and give them written permission unless I know the person personally. As the property owner and manager of Chenal Curve Shopping Center, I did give Mr. Murphy approval to remove the signs and leave them to be picked up by the candidates who placed them there without authorization from me. I look forward to seeing a retraction of your story in order to set the record straight on what really happened on tonight's Channel 4 newscast. Saying thank you very much. Sincerely, John A. Reese, Principal Broker, Reese Commercial. Now, this was posted 18 hours ago. I'm here. I'm sharing the Channel 4 website on this actual story, and I do not see this letter posted or even any mention of this. And so this is something that really should have been A, taken care of and handled in the correct way, and B, needs to be retracted because they're putting a lot of confusion.
But the fact is, before I even got the letter, I told the reporter, call John Reese. He will verify what I'm telling you. Get the facts before you run the story. I said, and then I text her, you need to cease and desist because this could damage my business and my reputation. When you put stuff out like this, and I deal with judges and other people, they're not going to hire somebody that is posted said they're a criminal. She started using the word criminal stuff. That's not right. So I've got damages and loss of business going to be because of this. This is all just a political hit piece. They're trying to damage other candidates, and they had, it shouldn't even involve them. It was a property owner asking me to take it down. I laid it down. I didn't cut it up with a knife and throw it away. I laid it down. Now, she also reported that the signs are back up and the candidates have permission for their location. Not true. They did not get it. And the letters state that. I sent her the letters. I told her I want a retraction of the story and an apology. Still didn't get it. So I've had other people contact them, and we'll see what happens tonight. But I have retained an attorney. So
I was about to ask what's going to happen with this. It looks like there may be a possible, I don't know if there's a video in this, but yeah, here's the story on here. So you've retained attorney regarding KARK4, and so this could be a potential lawsuit over what they've done.
Could be, and also now the Arkansas Times, they're putting out false information too, and they show on their the expense report for Keith Brooks. He's paid me for signs, and he has, because I do signs. That's the company. A ton of politicians buy signs from me because I got a great product at a great price, and nobody does what I do on putting out signs and picking them up for them. So that is, I do it in a professional manner, and I get the invoices. There's a lot of different candidates, and that's on there. So, but he doesn't pay me to go. What they insinuate, take signs down. That's ridiculous. That's just a political hatchet trying to make crap up.
I see. And I'm watching the video of their story here, but it's still up. And again, there is no picture of that letter by the property owner regarding this. I also wanted to raise something else up. And of course, I was about to mention the Arkansas Times post on Twitter. Even there, a few people did post the truth. Courtney Roldan posted, "No business is required to allow signs that business owners already shared proof the candidates didn't have permission." So she knows about this. And then there's
I'll tell you something else. John Reese told me this morning. He called me back. He's upset and mad about it too. He said that if they don't have their signs down by 5:30, I'm out of town right now putting up signs in another part of the state. And when I get back tomorrow, if they're up, he told me take them down, all of them. And he told me which ones to take down. So, if they got till tomorrow, and then I'm fixing to clean house.
Okay. Well, let's see what KARK talks about that. And on the flip side, because I mentioned this, a guy named Michael White, who is running for a state rep in that area, has said that he has had some of his signs taken down, and KARK4 hasn't bothered to call him back. So it looks like it's a kind of a problem on both ends.
I mean, it's, and I haven't seen it, but I appreciate him, because before he even posted the letters, he reached out. He thought it was bogus. He couldn't believe they were posted, because in the video it shows me laying the signs down, just laying them on the ground. So, and I'm like, I agree, and it's just he's getting a hit job on him too. They're not reporting stuff like that. I've got candidates that I do stuff for that their signs have been cut up. I've got pictures of them cut up down the middle and stuff, and I just go out and I replace them. There's nothing you can do when it's just done. Most of this stuff happens at night when it's like that.
I was about to say, I have video years ago when I was working for Jim Keat, and I put up some signs. Some of them were in the wrong place, and I had to go. I had to call a property owner and say, "Hey, what happened? Oh, we took your signs down. We placed them at this location." And I perfectly understand it, but I know that for a fact that there were some at night. There were some guys. They were actually government officials who came by and were in all black and SUV. And I have video that I'll play about later when we're done with this call. I know there's a difference between people who just vandalize and steal signs and people that are just, on their own property or having somebody else help with their property. And I really wish KARK4 would be able to tell the difference in this. And, first of all, not do this. We really should have clarified the story before posting it. And certainly now that people know that the property owner has actually issued a letter and talked with him. But Carrie, looks like you're busy. And thank you for talking with me. I'm going to post this. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this. I'll play some video. I may play the actual story on KARK4 and then some footage I have. But we got to get the truth out about this. I'll talk a little bit about how TV news media has failed us in terms of our politics in general. But do you have anything else you want to add?
No, people need to, ask permission when you go to a property. If you make a mistake and you have campaign workers that do, then just get them to fix it. Pick it up, move it, get it off the ground, take it to someplace else. And don't put your sign in front of somebody else's and block the view of it. There are some free-for-all spots, that everybody can put their signs. They don't care, and you can put them in. But, the courtesy is, even if you're putting it on the same property as your opponent, don't block it in front. Put it beside it, around, spread it out. You know what I mean? Have some sign etiquette. So that's how I believe about that. So I just want to get the record out there straight. And they had multiple chances to stop this and get the facts before it came out. And then for them to still leave it out there, and then it's on the internet and running. They're just anyway.
Yeah,
I'll leave it to
a false hit
somebody
piece.
else to write that legal term.
It's a false hit piece, as you said, done by a channel that should know better. All right, Kara, thank you so much. I'm going to continue to talk about this, but you go on about your day. Thanks for calling in.
Thanks, Kenny.
All right. Well, folks, I'm going to play some video on this issue, and I just need to adjust my sound just a little bit here. And so this is an issue that I've kind of dealt with before in the past. I'm going to see, hopefully make sure my audio is up before I play this, because I want to get it on record. I'm testing. I am going to put this on a podcast as well, so people can listen in on this later on. And then, of course, this will be a video. Years ago, as I mentioned, I was a volunteer for a guy named Jim Keat, who was running for governor against then Governor Mike Beebe. Would have been a much better governor if we wouldn't have had Obamacare Medicaid expansion. The Tea Party was just growing about this time. This was 13 years ago. November 2010. The Tea Party was just kind of starting to, get underway, but it hadn't taken over. Of course, we weren't helped by any of the consultant class. Impact Management, Chris Caldwell, the Arkansas Association of Counties, the Chamber of Commerce. None of them bothered to help us when we were trying to save this state from globalism. But here's just a few minutes. This was a long time ago, and it was kind of bad video, but I'll play it for you anyway. This is an example of real sign thieves here. I just put a sign at the corner of 6412 and Osage, and these guys in a black truck.
That without Michael Bennett, this health care bill would not have passed. And I think that is the most important thing for Coloradans to understand right now, is that Michael Bennett
guys in the truck right here
on that health care bill, the 60th vote, and without his vote and without his support, we would have
what in the world
right now with
We had the 60th vote provided by Al Franken from Minnesota, because that was by just over.
Yes, I'm at the corner of JFK and North
won.
Hills. We've got
And
two
remember,
guys
we
in
have the
black
felons
suits,
for
and I think they
Franken
just stole some
program.
signs.
So it's very important that people.
I think they're stealing some campaign signs. I don't know what's going on. I just passed by them.
If you can still be an
And-
election judge, but also get
Okay, I'm at the corner of JFK
or your candidate's
North
office.
Hills, and I mean, they were just right here. License plate number 931LKX.
Because a lot of these races are going to come down to 100 and 130
I mean, I
votes.
just put up a
it's
Jim Keat for
that
governor
tight.
sign.
So we just really need people to get out
And now
and
they're
make
gone.
phone calls and vote.
Yeah, these are the guys doing it.
And
They're right here. They're right here. I'm following them right now. Okay, they're at the corner of JFK and North Hills. Yeah, they're stealing signs. Yeah, these are two guys that are stealing signs right now at the corner of JFK and North Hills. They are going down.
No, I think they made over 1 million phone calls this weekend.
No, they're heading back up on JFK now. They are heading south. They're heading south.
Neighborhoods right now, but we are bigger.
No, they're heading. Hold on.
They should not intimidate us. And that's why you have
No, they are at JFK and North Hills. They're heading down JFK toward Osage, from JFK and North Hills toward JFK and Osage.
for this election, Mark. If you're for liberty and tyranny.
Well, you're very sweet, but I don't want to be patting myself. I want to keep plowing ahead.
You did it. You did it. You laid the intellectual foundation.
So anyway, it was later on in comments, John and Brandy Moran an officer Kincaid of the Norfolk Police Department came by my house, dropped off the sign that he had taken from the suspects. The signs on JFK were all 2x2s. But yeah, that was several years ago. And it was done. This is typically an act done by Democrats. So this is Michael White, who's as I said before, running for state representative. I forgot, is District 75, which is West Little Rock area. There he is posting his signs. Let me go and play the KARK4 news story that should have been properly done here. Let me see if I can full screen this.
I'm against crime in all forms, so we don't need we don't need criminal mischief going on, and we don't need voter suppression.
We wrap up the third day of early voting. Political campaign signs are.
So I don't know if this is the exact area or not, because there's a lot of different signs here. There's Michael Packa, who's running for state treasurer. Make sure I am broadcasting correctly. If there is a problem with the broadcast, let me know. But anyway, this is the KARK4 story that Gary Murphy talked about. I don't know if this is the exact spot.
Being taken down in Little Rock, and it's been caught on camera. Thanks for joining us tonight at 10. I'm Laura Monteverdi.
Well, good evening, everybody. I'm Bob Clausen. Glad you're with us tonight. A woman was sitting in her vehicle on Chenal Parkway when, she says, intuition told her to start recording as two men jumped out of their vehicle and started taking down two signs. Madison Gaffner spoke to the woman who captured it all, the political candidates, about how this affects them, as well as a man who gives an answer as perhaps to why.
She joins us live now from where this all happened. Madison, are the signs back up?
Well, Bob and Laura, the signs are back up. They say that the candidates received full permission to put them here in a row, along with other political campaign signs in front of the shopping center on Chenal Parkway, which is why they're back up once again. They say they feel the action was disrespectful.
Regardless of party, this is unacceptable.
Two candidates are frustrated after their political signs were picked out of a line of others in front of a shopping center on Chenal Parkway in Little Rock this past Tuesday.
It was just happenstance that this occurred in front of me and I was able to capture it.
The video, captured by a Louisiana woman who would like to remain anonymous in fear of backlash, shows two men getting out of a truck and removing the signs for Marcus Jones, a candidate for U.S. Congress, and James Bartholomew, a candidate for state representative.
At the end of the day, I don't care. You can destroy my signs. You know, while it's against the law, I don't think it's going to stop my message from getting out.
The video shows the two sign pullers getting into a truck with a business sign for Murphy's Rustin Gun and Knife Show. I contacted the owner, Kerry Murphy, and he said, quote, "That is a private property and the owner did not give them permission to put up any signs. I was told to take them down."
And I know I wouldn't put a sign in a place in which I didn't have permission.
I did reach out to the property management for the shopping center. They said they did not give permission for anyone to remove signs.
It's frustrating. It's frustrating more as an Arkansan and an American than it is simply as a candidate.
Okay. It's not the manager's decision, it's the owner. And there is a letter from the owner.
The Little Rock Police Department says that defacing or stealing signs could lead to a misdemeanor charge. The candidates are thinking about filing a police report. Reporting live here in Little Rock, I'm Madison Gaffner, KARK4 News.
Madison, thanks.
Okay, so I'm not going to. Hold on, I have to wait till it.
We are your local election headquarters.
Nope, I don't need any more news from these clowns. Yeah, so they screwed up. And it looks like they screwed up intentionally. And at the same time, they won't bother to even talk to this guy. And this is something I've talked about before, how television media has for decades failed to inform the people of what is actually going on. I've already mentioned this with the useless political polling. I've mentioned this before with how they will oftentimes ignore things like the Hunter Biden laptop, and we know this on a national level. The corruption involving Hillary Clinton, the corruption involving Ukraine, Burisma, they'll even call it misinformation. And then if it's something that makes Republicans look bad, well, they'll prop that up and focus in on that. Allegations against Trump, which later on proved to be false. You know the drill. Most people know this. Most people already have an idea of this. This story and what I'm doing is just kind of focusing and giving more detail on what most people know, which is that television media is slanted. It's slanted to the left. It's slanted to the globalists. It's slanted to those who will pay more money to buy ads and who want bigger government. And this is serious. I mean, you heard them. You heard the lady. They're contemplating police charges. And this is similar to the January 6th stuff. We now know that January 6th was a bunch of Antifa and FBI operatives who started in a gotcha set up false flag operation and managed to lure a bunch of people into the Capitol. The doors, by the way, which were had to be open from the inside. And there's people in this state that have had guns pointed at them and thrown in jail over that. But will they talk about, the FBI operatives that were involved in that? Nope. Folks, this is why, this is one reason why I set up Just the Right Angle in the first place, is to get the real story on this and to try to get other people to know what is actually going on. And this is why I'm on Twitter, X, and a bunch of other places. Truth Social, Gab, Parler, MeWe. Here we go. Look at this. You got a Truth Social ballot box set on fire in critical state in Arizona. And this is a website where you can learn to get information on what really is going on. I also mentioned this. One of the other big issues that come to mind was Samantha Boyd's attempt to repeat the narrative that primary elections are open, which basically means Democrats can sneak over and sabotage Republican primary elections, when even though we had a state convention and the rules in the state are, according to the Republican Party of Arkansas, state that the state convention has the final say regarding primaries, and that there's a legal precedent regarding that. And of course, the Arkansas Democrat Gazette, I haven't looked them up on this, but they wouldn't surprise me if they repeat the same narrative as well. And again, these KARK4 knows full well that by posting this letter, it ruins the narrative set forth by Marcus Jones and the other guy whose name I can't pronounce. I keep forgetting. James Henry Bartolome. Notice they were given interviews. They were given to say their side. But when it comes to the actual property owner, they're left out. That's how you slant a story. And again, this should have never been done. It needs to be retracted. And I quite frankly hope there is some legal action done with this. I don't know about the reporter. Usually there's an editor that actually approves all this. So there's KARK4 for you. And it seems like they only try to tell the other side when they're forced to. And even then they try to dismiss it. Just like the story about closed primaries. We voted to close primaries overwhelmingly. The overwhelming majority of Republicans want closed primaries. In our rules in the state convention, it says to close the primaries. The supposed executive committee that met afterward didn't abide by the rules in their meeting. And yet somehow Samantha Boyd says the primaries are open. And repeats that line. And Madison Gaffner is doing the same thing. She has a narrative that Carrie Murphy is somehow a sign vandal, and she's going to do everything in her power to stick to that. This letter again was released, I think like 2 days ago. KARK4 says they contacted the manager. What's the manager's name? When did you contact them? On something like this, that should have been addressed. I mean, if you're going to name names, then name names. Honestly, I don't think they did. I think they probably called somebody and some poor kid who's working the front desk and they didn't know. And notice they said, well, they didn't give permission to take them down on any property. So there's something off right about that right now, right there. Well, folks, that's my broadcast for today. Do find a way to get involved. There are globalists in the state of Arkansas. Before you get rid of Bill Gates and Charles Schwab and the Fed and the IRS and these unconstitutional organizations, you got to fight the globalists in your backyard. And Matson Gaffner and the editor who approved this story, they're part of the problem. So do get out and vote. Make sure everyone you know early votes. Campaign for those. Find people, especially if they're running for smaller positions like Justice of the Peace or City Council. Vote down any tax increase. There's one in Little Rock. There's a millage in North Little Rock. I believe there's one in Jonesboro. Vote them down. Make sure people know about it. And find a way to get involved. Again, you can visit me at Just the Right Angle on Rumble. This will be on my Podbean Just the Right Angle as well, so you can listen in. I'll edit it with some nice software to get some hopefully good audio. YouTube, Keep Arkansas Legal, and of course I'm on Facebook as well. And of course there's links there if you want to donate. Help fund see more research like this. Anyway, you all have a great day.